The first 7 nights. What is the king doing? Why go home? Monk reminds family members to decide to stay. The lesson of death to the living is not to give up. It's about knowing the end. The many pains of the world. It's because we made a mistake to say goodbye. See the natural flow of life as an accident. In fact, death is the same as birth. All through. Not a permanent residence. The core conveyed by the first 7. It's not crying that stops him from going to rest. Do not delay his departure from reincarnation with obsession, the continuation of life without fear. Don't cry. You just don't cry until you let him linger. The spring rain has begun to stop. The damp breath of heaven and earth has not yet completely dissipated. The air in the valley. The warmth after waking up mixed with soil. A scent of green with the grass. It's like everything takes its first breath after the rain. Really clean breath. Such a smell. It doesn't seem cold before the topic of death. It's more like a reminder. Prosperity must perish. Prosperity and destruction must be reversed. But return to the source. People often think of death as a sudden break. But the dissipation of consciousness is not an instantaneous rupture. It's more like the rain after the rain. Did not fade away immediately. Just stay quietly in the depths of the land. In this understanding, the first 7 are no longer taboos with shadows. It's a tiny piece. Extremely fragile, but has a very important transition of consciousness. The first return after death. It doesn't have to be read with horror. It doesn't need to be described as a crutch. It should be deep, to understand the psychological and energetic workings of layers. A person who has just left the body still carries strong human memory and choice identification. That habitual emotion has been faded. Failed to grasp the laws of the rotation of heaven and earth immediately. Just still as father, a significant other, mother or child. Therefore, the first wife should not cry too deeply. It's never about emotional suppression. It's not a denial of grief. It's a reminder every time you lose control of the living. In fact, it will be like a lever. Send an invisible silk thread. Let him look back. I mistakenly believe that I still have an obligation to stay here. He should have walked away. And your sadness is like pushing him back to the threshold. Make him stop at the border between life and death. I don't know the way forward. I don't know where to go. If the spirit stone at this time is compared to mist, that cry is the moisture clinging to the fog. Condense the mist into droplets. Heavy fall. Can't spread out. He wanted nothing, just looking back. And your tears and cries. But he took on the responsibility again, a role he no longer has to play. Need care. Need to be responsible. Need to stay. And therefore the first period of silence is not apathy. It's about compassion. First term moderation, not forgetting. It was release. The living never have to pretend it doesn't hurt. Just let the pain not turn into obsession. No need to suppress thoughts. Just let the missing not turn into grasping. On a spiritual level, consciousness does not dissolve immediately after death. More like when the tide recedes into the deep sea. There are still lingering sounds and ripples. He can still feel the weight of human emotions. Just unable to reply or bear. So the calm of the first 7. To make the king understand that he is understood. He is blessed. He was allowed to leave. If you must use a sentence to be safe, reassuring language as a principle. That is, the sadness is deep, but the heart is empty. Tears can fall, but you don't have to call, you can keep missing. But don't hold back. Many parting is difficult. Not in death itself. It's the living who mistakenly believe that holding tighter is love, without understanding true love. It lies in being willing to let him go to his world, instead of letting him stay in your pain forever. Death is not absence. It's about transforming, not taking away, but return. Return to a broader form of existence. Like rain initializing a shortcut through a mountain well. Traces don't disappear. Just changed location, changed mindset. Or transpiration into clouds, or go deep into the soil, or flow to the valley. Every trend is not the end. But back to his most natural cycle. So do the dead, in the glow of my breath, in the lingering memory. Farewell to old love. Step into the invisible. Don't be afraid of loneliness. That's not indifference. It was a gentle retreat. Don't be afraid to let go. That's not forgetting. But let each other no longer be accompanied by pain, but to be able to connect in a wider way. Even if I can't see it anymore, no longer heard, can no longer respond with concrete words, but the flow of life is not lost. Just change direction. What the living need to do is not to suppress sadness. It is to stop exerting the force of nostalgia and grief. It's not that you don't cry, but when crying, don't lock yourself and the manager into each other. Everything is light. Everything is allowed. Everything is gentle. Learning allows existence to continue. It's not something that goes backwards. If you understand this, the first 7 are no longer taboos. It's a stillness before dawn. Let the living learn peace. Allow the king to move in the direction required for spiritual practice. Don't look back. Don't worry anymore. No longer bear the weight he no longer has to carry. As the night gets darker, the sounds of heaven and earth are collected like a mist. All the impulsive thoughts in the distance no longer knocks people's consciousness. Only deep within, that long-ignored awareness floats slowly, like the early shadow originally immersed under the water, reformed by moonlight. Many people think that the night gets quieter. Sadness is more suitable to flow. But those who truly understand the wisdom of life and death understand. The silence of the night is not meant to urge tears, but to make people see the persistence behind the tears. With unfinished obsession. Chess night. The easiest way to awaken memories. It is also the most easily attracted by emotions. That's not the soul. Nor is it a threat to the realm of yin and yang. But because of the hearts of the living at this time, I don't really understand the meaning of parting. Crying is not a crime, but the gripping behind the cries. It's much deeper than the surface. The more you try to pull the lost back into your arms, the more you throw an emotional fog on the departing snacks. Make it impossible to move forward with peace of mind. I can't understand that I have completed this marriage. Some people can't accept the idea. Emotion is reality. Should be free to express. But not all truth in the world can be infinitely indulged. Like a fire that can warm or burn the mind. There is nothing wrong with grief itself, only if it is late in the first period. A cry that is silent and torn apart. The sorrow of the samana. It will make the heart of the leaver stop because of miss. Even nostalgia for people. It's hard to let go of the journey of life and death that has just begun. People are afraid of death. It's because I don't understand the boundaries of thinking about the rest of my life. It's not as cold as it seems. The spirit stone leaves the body, not falls into darkness. It's more like a door that opens slowly, leading to deeper spiritual passages. However, when the living are constantly blocked by emotions, that door is no longer secure. As if someone had repeatedly pulled the door lock at night, so that the departed can neither return to the past world, can't embrace the state of mind. It's like being trapped in a gap between two worlds. Don't know where to go. Therefore, the ancient admonition will be passed down for thousands of years. Remind future generations not to cry until their souls are broken on the night of voting. Do not cry out. Don't let emotions turn into detention. It's not superstition, it's not intimidation. It is a kind of kindness and respect for the divorced. A way to make snacks safe and excessive, and gentle wisdom unfettered by emotion. True miss. No need to tear the night apart with sound, but with a quiet heart like a blessing to the lost. Like the wind in the valley passing by in the middle of the night. Leaves of grass are not alarmed, but with temperature. When you understand, missing is not the same as grasping. Grief doesn't have to equal sinking. Let the departed be in your silent blessing. Walk lightly. And you can also be in that profound silence. Finally understand, death is not fracture, but another extension. So it took some people years to figure it out. It wasn't cruel to hold back tears that night. It's about compassion. It's the art of letting go. Is to let the gaze, an invisible light that is not locked by emotions. When you choose to be quiet, you are not refusing to be sad, but to let the sadness from a grabbing force transform into a blessing, the soft energy that can send off and fulfill. No more asking if the soul will feel your silence. Because of that silence, that in itself is the deepest understanding. You stop comforting him with your own pain. I no longer ask him to look back with my loneliness, but slowly open a path in my heart. Let the levers go. Let you let go of your obsession. Return to the track that should continue in this life. The significance of 7 is not in the sign for counting days, but lies in this is a brief but crucial period of transition. Between the consciousness of the living and the king, there are still subtle interactions. This interaction is not a concrete communication. It's not that the soul will be directly attached, or return of violent events. It's an invisible resonance. Like the faint echo of the wind blowing through the mountains and valleys. Exist but untouchable. The emotions of the living, faith breathing. Actions are perceived within that resonance. This is why Chestnut places a special emphasis on. Don't cry too much. Don't shout heartily. Because you are the master of every emotion. Will be felt by the consciousness of departure. Become a subtle resistance to moving forward. Human grief often stems from the fear of being out of control, the obsession with loss, and the fear of self-isolation. And these emotions, if there is a concentrated outbreak in the first phase, will be like a flood. Flush out supposedly supple transition paths. Make it tortuous. True compassion is not the concentration of tears. It's about respect for people. Is to maintain a new lightness in the midst of profound sadness. Don't catch. Do not interfere. Don't judge. It's not easy to master, but it is at the heart of his wisdom. There is no gap between life and death. Death is not the end, but another form of existence and circulation. Grief is not a hindrance. It is an opportunity to become aware of one's own nature. During this time, the living can choose to take care of themselves with consciousness, instead of looking at each other with tears. Every tremor inside, a slight pause in every breath, every time I miss you, can be seen as an echo of energy, rather than interfering with the king. If you can maintain this awareness in the midst of sadness, your tears are no longer a fetter, but a soft blessing. Like a valley after rain, water flows on the ground, running over rocks and rhizomes, moisturize without hindering, deep into the land, eventually flow to distant valleys, to complete his journey silently and persistently. The learning of the first 7 is not just about understanding the king. It is also self-cultivation. He wants survivors. Remain clear in the most intense emotions. Tolerance in the midst of deepest grief. Trust in the most helpless loneliness. Trust in the natural laws of life. The flow of trust consciousness. Trust the form of love. You don't have to cling to the image in front of you. That's the tacit wisdom of the upfront. This wisdom teaches us that crying is not wrong. But if the purpose of crying becomes to seize or summon, lost the natural rhythm of life. Missing is not impossible. But if missing becomes control, let go of the existence. Stop in a space that doesn't belong to him. In addition, the first period of taboo mention, awaken our sensitivity to mental and energy. When emotions are extremely strong, people often overlook his influence on his mind and body. It also ignores his influence on the subtle space around him. Grief, if not noticed, will trap the living and the king at the same time. Keep each other out of balance. When we learn to, transforming grief into a silent blessing, transforming nostalgia into intangible support, we not only fulfill the levers. Let yourself face life and death, firmer and softer. It's silent wisdom, an invisible compassion. It's not dependent on tears, but it is more powerful than tears. The days after the first period should also continue this understanding. The life of the living, no need to be fixed in pain by mourning. It's learning to channel sadness into everyday peace. Take care to continue love with every breath, every step of the way, every moment of gazing at nature. Death never takes away love. He just brings love from a straight line. The dominant form is transformed into a broader, invisible existence. When the living learn this transformation, he has completed the true meaning of voting. Don't cry to stop each other from leaving. Don't miss tying yourself up, nor cover the light of the heart with pain. It's the beginning of understanding death. Also learn to love, learn to let go. The opportunity to learn inner freedom.